Yo, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy, RC9INTERVIEWS. We back with another edition of the RC9 interviews. We got a good one tonight, y'all. We got a good one tonight. And I just want to let y'all know, get ready. We about to get in some good conversation. We about to get in. We got licensed therapist Tiffany L. be in the building. Y'all know the routine. Tell a friend, tell a friend, and tell another friend to come on in. Because you know what? Tonight, we got the keys, baby. Let's get it. What y'all drinking on? Listen, I'm on the couch today. Tiffany want to take it away. I'm drinking Red Stripe today, y'all. If y'all don't see it, the Red Stripe. And I want to give a shout out to COE. I'm rocking COE clothing today. Their hat out of New York. Capitalize on everything. RC9 interviews, baby. Let's go. And for y'all don't know, it's a continuation of last week's interview with Kathy La Rubia. She's the OnlyFans woman out there doing her thing. But we want to know the flip side of it as it pertains to young women in this day and age in this society. So let's get to it. And we gonna see if she in here. Because we got the keys today. Yeah. All right, Alexa. Quiet. She don't listen. Alexa, turn off. She got the keys too. She said, I got the keys over. You don't tell me when to turn off. So, we gonna get to it. Listen, I got my Red Stripe over here. I got a box of sangria. I'm ready to get into it. You know, but I need to be sober-minded because it's real talk. It's real conversation. And we gonna get to it. So, shout out to everybody who's on the check-in right now. Shout out to Tiffany, she's in the building. RSVP Cast, yes, he's in the building. Snapshot Media Entertainment is in the building. Let's go. We're going to get right to it in here. We're going to bring them right in. I'm just going to invite a few more people. I just want people to come in here because we got the keys. Oh, we got the boy in here. Listen, we got podcast grooves up in here. Fat Laces in the building. Beards and Bald Head Podcast. We got Cass in here for No Cosign Podcast in here. Listen, we got some heavy hitters in here, so they know this topic gonna be off the hook. All right. Make sure everybody's squared away. I had to make sure I had to put my stuff on Do Not Disturb because I don't need no interruptions as we get into what we get into today. All right, let me bring it in here. I don't want to delay the time because I want every bit of the time I have. Here we go. Let's get in here. Here we go. How are you?
Hi.
Let me adjust my side of the screen over here so we can see what's going on. How you feeling today? Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we present to you the RC9INTERVIEWS. We're about to get into the one and only licensed therapist, Tiffany L's in the building, y'all.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited. You know, everything has its time and its place. And I was supposed to have you know, I used to come on at Wednesday. But you know, since I run my own ship and my own show, I come on whenever I want to. So,
you're an entrepreneur.
That's right. I do what I mean, I do what I do now. But I just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your evening to join us here at the RC9INTERVIEWS.
No problem.
You know, we're gonna get into, you know, it's gonna be chill, way back. I gotta invite some people to come through.
Please.
And we just gonna get into, we're gonna have real talk. It's gonna, you know, gonna be heart to heart, and you know, drop some information nuggets so people can see the flip side of things. You know,
yeah.
So often we in a world with, you know, one dimensional. People just, you know, stuck in this one thing. They stuck in what they constantly see all the time. They think that's the norm and that's okay. So they go with the flow.
Mm-hmm.
And for those who are checking and don't know, invited Tiffany on here by way of Fat Lace, my boy Jason from the Beards and Bald Head Podcast. He was a plug for this right here. He set it up. So kudos to him. Kudos to my guy. He interviewed me the other week on his show. So shout out to him for this link right here. But just to give everybody a replay of what's going on, recap. We had an interview last Wednesday with Kathy LaRubia, and she's on the OnlyFans network. You know, she does her thing. She proudly admits that she's a sex worker. And she does her thing, and she was it was about a 2-hour segment we were on, and she was dropping some information about how she began and where she come from, and how the OnlyFans community, and the whole environment, the whole platform really benefits her. And so we want to hear the flip side of that from a licensed therapist. We know that you checked in last week as well, and
I was just being nosy.
I was just saying, what's going on in there? Let me see what's going on in there. So,
Look where it got me.
I just want everybody to know this is not a bashing session. We're not bashing nobody. No. So we don't want to think this one of those. We're just here just bringing information and bringing like real. This is a real talk a segment, open forum, and we're just going to get into it. Just going to talk about it. Let's talk about it. So thank y'all all for joining us here tonight. We're going to get into it now. So I kind of gave you an introduction, but you could go ahead and reintroduce yourself if you don't mind.
Hey y'all. Oh, I am a licensed professional counselor out of New Jersey. I am working on my second licensure. I'm going to apply for it in Georgia so I can be dually licensed in 2 states. Working on my doctorate right now out of Regent University, focusing on trauma and crisis counseling right now. I've been doing this since 2006.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So she got some time to grade in here.
Yeah. So this is my passion. I've learned that this is what I've been put here to do. I can't run from it. I can't ignore it. This is what God's called me to do. So I have to do what I've been told to do.
I'm gonna make you do what to do. So this is what it is.
Yes.
So how did you how did you get into the whole therapy role? Like, what was your interest? Was it something that you always wanted to do, or you just like, you know what?
The honest answer?
Yeah.
I did horrible in high school. Horrible. So I went to college looking like, what's the easiest major? Which I got that does not require me to have to do a lot. Mm-hmm. And it was psychology. And I ended up liking it. And I ended up coming home. I went to school in Long Island. I went to Adelphi. And I came home to take a summer class at Keene. And I sat next to a young lady, and she was volunteering at the Union County Detention Center in Elizabeth.
Okay.
It's now in Linden, but it was in Elizabeth at the time. And she was like, yeah, you should volunteer there. And I went down there. I applied at that juvenile detention center, and I loved it. I fell in love with those kids. I loved them. I loved them so much. They loved me. I was their volunteer art teacher. I can't draw. Wow. I was just doing crafts. And I loved it so much. It gave me so much joy. And I ran with it. From there on out, I just started working at more prisons, more halfway houses, more psychiatric facilities. And I just ran with it. And I just loved helping people. I knew that shout out to my cousin, she just joined. Oh, sorry, I got distracted.
That's right. Everybody who's joining, thank you. Welcome.
Yes. I just knew that it was just something that I had to do. I felt a way seeing these kids who were just casted out. I just knew that they needed somebody, and it had to be me. I didn't know how long it was going to take, but I had to do it. I had to do it.
So it was like a pulling at your heart. Once you like you said, this wasn't your original plan, but
I wanted the easy way out. I said, what's the easiest?
What's the easiest way out?
Yes.
And you want to fall into your purpose.
Yes.
Wow.
And then just looking back at it now, I realized that I was one of them. I just wasn't in that predicament. I just wasn't in jail. I just wasn't one of the girls who was out there. Okay. But I was one of them. I was the one that was talked about, casted out. You're not going to make it. You're not going to graduate. You're not going to do all these things. So I think that's why it pulled on my heart so much. No, I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you. We have to do this. We have to do this. So, and I love it. I love it.
Wow. So you were just a team player. You came on, you saw a need, and you filled a need, and something pulled and tugged at your heart. And you said, you know what? I think I could do this. I like this.
Yeah.
What was one of the first things, when you first got into it, you said how you, transitioned to where you went to help out and you said, what, I like it. What was one of the first things that you could remember that kind of really like stuck out at you that you was like, like that really made you like and want to go deeper, dive deeper into it? Is it anything that you saw, something that you didn't see that wanted to be seen?
I saw my very first client in grad school. He was a racist. He was an Aryan Brotherhood inmate in jail. Well, I don't know how they term it, but when he came to me, he was a part of the Aryan Brotherhood in jail. And his first words to me was, I don't want a Black therapist and I don't want a woman. And from there on, I knew I had to go hard. Like, again, they're about to tell you that you can't do it. So yeah, I made it my business in that moment. Like, no, I'm gonna let you know that I'm gonna be your therapist, and you're going to get the best out of me. And in that program, we became thick as thieves. I ended up having a whole bunch of Aryan brothers around me that
really?
had no clue that this Black woman was going to be this amazing. And just to challenge them to not see race and not see color and not see, what they were seeing. So that was my first challenge.
Wow.
That was my first challenge, and I appreciate it.
That was a big challenge right there.
It was. It was.
Were you dealing with an Aryan brother? Like, wait a minute, hold up.
It was, because I had never experienced racism before in my life.
Okay.
I had never. Yeah, I had never.
Now, then, as that, because that was a big challenge, and now you literally, your first client, you said was an Aryan brother, a white guy. He said he didn't want a Black woman, and all this stuff. So, were you timid at first? Were you confident enough in yourself and your I guess your schooling and your abilities to
No, I faked it. I went to my personality, I didn't use my skill set. I was just confident in me and who I am. I was just confident in myself, but not my skill set. So I just practiced, and I just was like, well, we're gonna have to figure something out. I just told him, I was like, I said, we'll sit here in silence for as long as we have to. And it ended up just being like 3 weeks of him just being uncomfortable. But I was consistent.
Wow.
And, I just was like, I'm not going to back down.
Right.
And I practiced. I talked to my supervisor about it, and we discussed it. And he was like, don't let up, because you're consistent. And I like how you're not going to let up. And I didn't. And I'm glad that I didn't, So
you refused to be punked.
Exactly. I was no punk in the street, so I ain't gonna be no punk in here.
So let's talk about that. So I think it takes to be a different kind of person. First of all, to be a therapist. Just for clarity purposes, those who are listening, what kind of therapist are you? Again. So
right now, I'm a mental health clinician. I don't put a title on it. I work in a high school, so I have three different areas where I practice therapy.
Okay.
I work in a high school in a behavioral program, and that's my one area. So right in that area, I do behavioral work with behavioral kids. Then outside of the high school, I'm contracted by two different companies to also work with behavioral youth. So I guess you could just say I just like working with behavioral youth. And then I'm also an adjunct professor. So I throw that in there too.
Oh, so you do have a lot of hats going on. So you and I think that's good to be well-rounded in a field like that. So you can kind of get different experiences from different areas, and you can put it all together and help you to be a better therapist.
Yeah, that's a part of the therapy hustle game, to get your feet wet in all the different areas. You can't be stuck in one place. You have to have worked in jail, psychiatric hospitals, DIFIS, in-home therapy, schools. You have to have seen it all to get the full picture of it.
Wow. So, and all that, we're going to get to the other stuff, but I just want to know, like, in all of the, school and all the training and all, the different circuits you've been in, initially, how long was your schooling? Like, did you have what your first client, was that like an internship or was that your actual client?
No, that was my internship in grad school.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was
So grad school was 4 years. No, my bachelor's was 4 years, and then grad school was 3 years.
Oh, she's about this life for real, for real.
And then now my doctorate is going to be like another 2 years.
Oh, he about to, look, wait a minute. Do we have a doctor in the house, y'all? Do we have a doctor in the house? Come on, talk about this black excellency up in here now.
Oh, thank you.
Listen, when you become a doctor, when it's official, I'm gonna need that autograph doctor. Tiffany L. I could put a plaque say I interviewed her. I interviewed a doctor. Y'all,
Yeah.
So let's get into real quick. I just want to understand, like I said, it takes a different type of person to be a therapist. I really believe to be a therapist, media counselor, whatever, you have to have some kind of calling. You have to have a heart. You're supposed to have a heart for the people and a passionate heart and one who cares about another's well-being. Growing up, I mean, you could not foresee you doing what you're doing now, obviously, because that was not the plan. She said, I was a horrible student in high school. Understand? Now I'm on my way to be a doctor. Come on, somebody. Don't let me preach up in here now. Look to your neighbor and said, I can change. Okay, let me stop.
Won't he do it? Yes.
Won't he do it? So let's take it back. So you're a New Jersey native?
Yes, Plainfield, born and raised.
Plainfield, New Jersey. The Queen. Give it up for the Queen City, y'all. Plainfield, New Jersey. Turn up. Now, coming from Plainfield, being raised in Plainfield, you raised by mom and dad, or so. Yep. Tell us about your upbringing. Siblings?
No siblings. I'm an only child.
Only child? Okay.
Yes.
So, how was that? Like, what were your parents into? Like, how was the home life? Was it a loving home life? Was it like a rough McGruff? Or talk about that.
So my parents migrated from Jamaica. So all I know is hustle. I don't have any siblings. I'm an only child, but I have a lot of cousins.
Okay.
A lot. And we live close in proximity.
Okay. She said close.
Close. Okay. We are all close. I have a big family. But I was the rebel cousin. Yeah.
Oh, look what she said. She said, you had a drink on that one. You have a cup of tea. I said, oh.
Now I have a little cocktail.
So you're Jamaican?
I am Jamaican American. So I was born here.
Oh, so you know about this right here?
Yes, that red stripe. Yes.
The red stripe. What does it say right here? Brewed in Jamaica. Jamaica. Welcome to Jam Rock. Okay. I'm done. So you had a lot of only child, had a lot of family around, from Plainfield, New Jersey. So where you like everybody, we were kids and we do things out and have fun. So what type of girl were you? Were like a reserve girl? Did you have a crew? Did you roll with a whole bunch of other girls? Or?
I rolled with my cousins a lot. I went to private school my whole life. One would think I would be snooty, but I'm not. I'm not. I got involved with a couple of interesting characters outside of school.
That's a nice way to put it. Interesting characters. It said wink, wink. You know what I'm saying? Right.
They were interesting. I kind of stressed my parents out a little bit, just a little bit.
They was kind of nervous.
Yeah, they was like, "Wait a minute, what is happening? Like, we sent her to this all girls school. Like, what? Like, girl, tighten up. What's wrong with you? Like, So yeah, I didn't have a crew. My friends that I'm friends with now, that's what I was friends with in high school. We are thick as thieves. But yeah, no, I didn't have a crew. I was real private. How I am now, I was private, quiet.
Okay.
But I still was a little bit of a troublemaker.
Okay, let's get into it. Talk about troublemaker, because I need to piece this together now. So from where you came from to being, not such a good high school student to on your way to be a doctor. What kind of troublemaker were you exactly?
Maybe I shouldn't say troublemaker. You know what it is? I think I always had the helper in me. I always wanted to be around people who needed to feel loved, and help.
Okay.
So I was always with that crowd of people. So I hung with them,
Okay.
and they might have got me in trouble. But I
She
always
said
wanted
they
to,
might
like,
have got me a little bit of trouble.
yeah, they might have got me in a little trouble. But I always wanted to kick it with them,
Okay.
hang with them, make sure they were good, hold them down. But it might have set me back a little bit, you know.
All right.
Yeah.
Which would seem to be a setup for your future in a strange way.
But that's how God works.
And that's how God works. So, you know, it's pretty much the typical young adult life, teenage life,
Yes.
like anybody else. You know, not too crazy. We all, you know, have met some strange people, did some strange things, end up in some strange places.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So now here we are today. Yeah, you are a licensed therapist. You have an array of expertise in different in that whole line, that whole environment. And so the reason why we want you on here today, because we want your input on the conversation we had, or interview we had last week with Kathleen Arubia and about OnlyFans. And you know, since the quarantine, actually OnlyFans has been around longer than I thought it was. According to our last guest, I didn't know it was around at least 3 years.
I didn't know that either.
I didn't know. I just heard about it when the quarantine started. Everybody was popping up at OnlyFans pages. Like,
I was like, oh, right. I'm old.
It's like, wait a minute. I gotta keep up.
Right. Seriously.
Right. So, you know, and she talked about her experience of where she came from, and you know, she didn't come from the typical you know, environment one would think. She came from both parents in a home. She was good grades was demanded of her, excellence was demanded of her, pretty much so on and so forth. And you know, and I guess she probably was a rebel, you know, and got into what she got into. And now she's doing OnlyFans full time, and she loves it. She's open with it. She's out there like, blam, here I am. Give me my money and keeping it moving. But what we want to talk about is to talk about the flip side of the OnlyFans and you know, the mental effects and how it relates to young women. And we know men are on here too, but definitely want to, you know, touch on both of them, but women specifically, because that's who you see more of on OnlyFans, and wanted to get your viewpoint on it, and from a professional and also from a personal, as a woman yourself, not only, you know, just being a therapist, but also being a woman. You know, like I said, we can keep it candid, we can keep it real on here. We're not here to actually, you know, target or, you know, bash anybody. If that's what they decide to do, that's what they decide to do. But we like to be able to create a platform to give both sides of the spectrum. So people who are either in it or just, you know, want to get in it can know that this is a platform, and now, you know, you could be directly or indirectly responsible for what somebody picks up after you, right? And if you have kids, and what your kids are being exposed to. So just give us your overall opinion about OnlyFans and how it's being used in relation to the sex workers.
It's not just OnlyFans. It's OnlyFans, Backpage, Craigslist, Instagram, Snapchat. I think what happened was, I was listening last week, and what triggered me is that people talk so openly about all these platforms and how they're getting money and how they're getting to the bag and all this other stuff. And that's fine. I salute anybody who's getting to the bag. I don't want nobody to be out here not getting the bag. Okay? Right? I'm all about it. But I also know that on the back end, there are predators on those same websites.
Absolutely.
Targeting young girls, lying to them, you know, setting them up, posing as modeling agents, all types of stuff, video for, you know, fake rap artists, all types of stuff, doing all types of things to get them, to lure them to where they are, to keep them, to kidnap them, and to traffic them. And sex trafficking is at an all-time high in New Jersey, all over the nation. And I just don't like the fact that the media and anybody else, we forget that part. And we forget about those girls who get caught up on accident. Right. Not on purpose. Who get caught up on accident, really wanting to be a model, or wanting to be in a video just to, just to do whatever, or girls who are just passing by on Instagram, scrolling, and then they get caught up in something that they have no clue.
Right.
I don't want them to be forgotten, because I've seen it happen in real life. I've seen girls get approached in real life by men who really wanted to traffic them, and I don't want, well, I don't want, but clearly it's not really what I want. The media will throw sex around so fluidly and loosely, and we get so caught up. Even myself, we all get caught up. The songs, the videos, everything. We get caught up.
These things, like, to go drop real quick, like you just said, real quick, these songs and these videos are like embedding messages into our subconscious.
Yes. We get so caught up, like, and we all fall victim. We all want to play them. We all want to bump them. We all want to do the dances. That's fine. But we cannot forget that on the other end, there are young girls watching, and that can't be the only message. Like, we can't forget that these girls are watching us.
Wow.
Everything we do, they're watching. They're watching everything we do. So even the ones who are making the songs, singing the songs, like, you have daughters. What are you going to tell them 10 years from now? Yeah, it was hot for a minute. But what you going to tell your daughter, like, what does WAP really mean?
Wow. Like, mommy, what is WAP? That conversation will happen. It's probably happening right now. We have
a responsibility to these girls. Because we can't bash men every single day and say men aren't shit, da 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 da. Some of them aren't. No, it is what it is. But we have a responsibility as women to hold ourselves accountable and hold ourselves to a standard. Like, listen, all right, at some point we have to dial it down. We have to dial it down and know that we are worth a lot more than just putting a price tag on our bodies, on sex. And I'm not mad if that's what you want to do, but do you really have peace at the end of the night? Those are my questions that I would love to ask the girls who are voluntarily doing it. Because the girls who aren't voluntarily doing it don't have peace. They're being tortured, they're being raped, they're being, fought, kicked, punched, threatened. Like, I just had those kind of questions. Because they didn't sign up for it,
So you feel that, those who are on these platforms, I don't know if I want to use this, but they have a social responsibility. Would you say? Even
I don't want to put that on them because they don't. They can do whatever they want, just like I can do whatever I want. Like, I know I have a responsibility. Whether I have taken this responsibility on myself or somebody's giving it to me, I know I have a responsibility. Just as a 36-year-old woman, as an adult, I have a responsibility because there are girls watching me every single day in the grocery store, at my job. They're watching me. I can't act a certain way, because 10 years from now, I want my name to be remembered in a certain way. If that makes sense.
Wow. So it has to. It makes sense. And like you said, like, the things like this, this human trafficking is real. People are getting raped. People are getting abducted. People have real stalkers. I know friends and female friends who have real life stalkers and have several years. So these things that we, I think, we tend to brush over because we've been desensitized to this through the media, through the radios, now we have the Facebook, the Instagrams, and all the social media platforms and other platforms where it's just become the norm, right? And so what do you say about the mentality of individuals, men and women, because not only just women who's out here, it's men out here too, because we moved from an era where we're going to, especially nowadays with the COVID going on, where we're in the strip clubs and, tossing them dollars, and now we're in virtual. So now it's not as private as it used to be back in the day. Before, you had to go to the club, what I'm saying? You had to go and see it. But now it's everywhere. Even though they had the porn hubs and other sex sites and stuff, now it became more personal with the OnlyFans. Like, if you got a card and whatever, you sign up, you got access, baby. You can see some raw stuff.
Yeah.
So now, um, now this just seemed to become the societal norm, I guess, in Western civilization over here. Um, how is it affecting the upcoming generation? Do you think? How do you affect the kids that's being born right now? Like this is their norm. Like they growing up from a far different time than we grew up in. 30 some odd years ago, 40 years ago. Like what? How do we counteract and really offset the stuff they're being bombarded with through the media?
We have to be consistent. The same way that the sex is being sold that hard, whatever else we're doing, we have to go just as 10 times harder. Whatever is negative, we have to go just as 10 times harder with whatever is positive. I'm spiritual too. I love Jesus. Everybody knows that. Amen. So the enemy is the prince of the air, right? So that's what he would want for us to just keep putting sex in the air, right? So that way he could just control all of that and just make it into a hot mess. So we need to just go harder with everything that is right and positive. Like if it's something, if there's a young lady that's going hard with I want to say sports, track and field, basketball, go hard, salute her, praise her. If she is valedictorian of her high school, go hard, salute her, blow her up. Like I had one young lady at my high school. She was 16. She was raped. She had a baby, and she was so ashamed of it. And she came to me the day of graduation, and she was like, "Miss Tiffany, I'm so nervous." She's like, "I don't know what to do. Like, people didn't think I was gonna make it. Like, what should I do?" I was like, "Be proud. Walk across the stage proud. Right. Like, be proud of who you are." And she did, and she pulled out her Mexican flag, and she just she owned the whole graduation. And I made sure to celebrate that. Right. Like, you have to celebrate these kids when they're doing something great. We can't focus on stuff that we know is not going to last. Like, this is not going to last. Like, this actual moment is not going to last.
Well, how do you and celebrate? And I totally agree with you. We do have to celebrate accomplishments when they're doing something good. But how do we counteract and combat against what the kids of today think is cool versus not cool, or what's in and not in? Because we're focused a lot on everything that glitters ain't gold, right? But to the generation, it seems to be so. They're out here securing the bag. Everybody talking about, gotta get the bag.
Everybody wants the bag.
Everybody wants the bag. And they're willing to do everything to get it, even compromise their own moral values and or beliefs.
Willing to sell their soul, yes. We need to have honest conversations with everybody about getting to this bag. Like, back in the day, drug dealers would say, "Listen, I'm in this game, but it's only 2 ways out."
Absolutely.
It's only 2 ways out.
Right.
So we need to be honest with everybody. Like, if you're getting, like, you can get to a bag, but you don't have to sell your soul. You don't have to devalue yourself. You don't have to devalue your self-worth to get to a bag. You need to just put some skin in the game, put some skill in the game, okay? And seriously, just put some hard work. Like, I'm sure everybody has a talent that we are not just driving home.
Right.
Like, there's so much more than just sex. That's easy. Like, to me, that's the easy way out. Okay, you can get to the bag by having sex, but how long is that going to last? You're going to tire yourself out. You're going to tire your body out. How long?
Right.
How long?
You're right. And how long will it last? And then, I guess it goes back to the home. Everybody doesn't come from the model home. Everybody doesn't come from that two-parent home, and some maybe broken homes, and a lot of things are going on, or they may come from an environment where or not, because obviously we learned from the last interview that the lady came from not a broken place. So I guess it just depends on the person and an influence of what's influencing that person. So it's like we really have to come up with a plan to offset. And I always look back on the governmental regulations, censorship, and things of that nature, and things started going another direction when I guess freedom of speech. People started, freedom of speech and censorship, and the government started letting loose on how tight they were on allowing things on the radio and televisions. It started getting crazy. So I'm like, man, how are we gonna? The government letting us up, and we gotta work harder. That means we, as parents, and it takes a village to raise a child. We have to go harder and making sure we are governing one another on here.
Yeah,
I see a lot of comments in here. Real quick, let me just scroll back up and see what I've been missing here. This OnlyFans been around for 5 years now. It's starting to blow up. Okay. It said people can be very predatory, both men and women. Unfortunately, yeah, you did. That was to your point earlier. Parents need to learn to be more controlling again in disciplinary actions.
It's very true.
Right. And in these days, like, kids, being controlling, they think, oh, you won't let me be me. Just be me. And they tend to, we have a lot of rebellious kids nowadays because what they see, like, no, you ain't gonna tell me not to do this. And you don't know you're old school. Like, now kids are really saying people are old school based upon what they see.
Yeah.
Here it goes. It said, Zlo said, but in their mind, what they're doing on OnlyFans is an accomplishment. So how we go about letting them know we are proud of them, but yet they can be so much more without them feeling away, like we're not judging. That's a good point.
That's a good point.
It's like, how do we combat against that? Like, without us coming to judging, like, Mom, you judging me? Like, it's a new day and age.
No,
like,
that takes a lot of confidence to be on camera, to do all of that. That takes a lot of confidence. But let's channel that into something else.
Right.
Because I know you have something else in there that you can give to the world. That is different. You can you take that confidence and run with it, because not everybody can be on camera talking, doing what you're doing. You know, like, that confidence is a whole different level. You have to be in a whole different headspace. So let's channel that. I would definitely drive that home. It's just not being channeled properly. That's like, seriously.
Wow. So I guess goes back to, once again, everything goes back to home, like knowing your kids, knowing the state of your kids, even the responsibility of teachers and counselors in school.
Absolutely.
Knowing their students and being able to be recognized certain things about their kids, and being able to all hands on deck.
No, seriously.
All hands really have to
all hands on deck.
Like, especially I believe if you're going to be in a position of it's like a therapist, a counselor, a teacher, anybody that's really dealing with the cultivating the mind of a child. We need to be serious about it, and obviously parents first and foremost, because we're on the front line. We really have to have patience and really be invested into our kids' lives, because not the society is going to raise it. Whatever the societal norm for that time is going to raise our children, and so on and so forth. I think somebody had a question in here earlier, but they must have went away. A while ago, somebody said any suggestions on how to be more safe, or for these girls that are going to, be a part of, like the OnlyFans, how do they be more aware? How to become more aware about what they're getting into?
How do the girls who are already in OnlyFans? Yeah,
like any suggestions on how to be more safe out here, or for these girls that are going to do it, I guess OnlyFans, to be more aware?
Well, if they're getting into the industry, I mean, they know their rules and their regulations. They need to set boundaries. They should set a time frame for how long they want to be in this game. It should not, because I'm not telling them not to do it. I can't tell anybody not to do anything, right? But know what you're going to do. Know how long you're going to be in this game for, know where you are mentally, and know why you're in this game. And know, be willing to put the work in after this game is finished, because you're taking on a lot. It's a lot of people, it's a lot of energy. You're interacting with a lot of people in a very intimate way. So be prepared to do some work after it's done, because you're giving of yourself. You're giving of yourself a lot.
Right.
And the only thing you're getting in return is money for it.
Right.
No one's there to cuddle, rub your back,
Right.
do none of that stuff after. Like,
right. You on your own at that point. Like,
right.
right.
After the Cash App is done, it's finished. Like,
Mm.
that is an empty feeling.
Yeah.
I don't care how much we try to cover it up, it's still an empty feeling.
Right. And so what do you say, like, for those, back in the day, the strippers back in the day, and some even so now, I say, I'm only in this to pay for college. I'm only here to do this, to put food on the table, and I'm out. I'm getting my money. I'm gone. What do we say to those who have that kind of mindset? It's not, so much into the bag and have the finer things of life. They're just doing it to survive, and they're not trying to get up in any extracurricular activities like, we say hoeing around or, having sex with this person, that person. They just here to dance and make their money and go.
Same thing. Have a time frame.
Mm-hmm.
Know what you're doing. You have to be safe.
Right.
Know your surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
Because the same way, this is a different type of life. This is a different game. People are watching you. It's money being made. You need to be careful. Know your time frame. Put a time on it.
Okay.
Be safe. Don't get comfortable. Don't let money rule you. You have to have a cutoff time.
What's that old saying in the Players Club in that movie?
Yes. Make the money, don't let the money make
you. That's
you.
right. Make the money, don't let the money make you, hunty. Get the money and go. So on here, Blondie Shorty said, I think it needs to be said that many people are doing OnlyFans as a stepping stone for other platforms and avenues you want to pursue in the future. So, in a day and age we live, everybody doing it for the clout. Everybody doing it for the exposures. We live in a world of likes and views and, trying to go viral. So, we have to, if we can, step into their mindset, they're in it for the clout, pretty much. They're in it so maybe they could get that bag, maybe sponsorships or somebody pay them for whatever. So this is
it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
She said no change.
It does not change. At the end of the day, it's gonna pass. It's gonna pass. It's gonna pass. MySpace pass. It's gonna pass. It's gonna pass. Craigslist pass. Backpage pass. It's gonna pass.
Right.
Put a time on this thing. Put a time on it.
Right.
What happens after this? Because this can't be the end goal.
Right.
This can't be the end goal. This can't be your end goal. Because your emotions can't take it. Your body can't take it. Your spirit can't take it.
Wow.
Let's be honest with yourself. I know the bag is there. You can make all the millions you want. You could be rich as all get up. Bro, you're gonna be happy.
Wow. So you said put a time limit on it, and there are other, like you said, this too shall pass. Like, it's not gonna be here forever. So do you believe, like, the type of persons who get into those who say it's about the bag? Do you think it's obviously, from what you're saying, it's something more deeper there? There's a void in there that they're trying to fill. There's an emptiness in there that they're trying to fill, and they're pacifying it with things like this.
People will argue me down, and I'm not the argumentative type, and it would just be a consistent conversation that they would have to be open to have.
Right.
And
I wonder if we were able to do a survey that those who are in this industry, the sex industry, OnlyFans, stripping, whatever industry, out of 100 people, I wonder how many people will say that they actually have had ongoing counseling or therapy. And if not, I would like to know the numbers if they're there. Have you had therapy? Have you had real counseling? Not just one session here and there, like continuous a counseling session, a therapy session. And I wonder if the numbers will change the amount of people we see in this industry versus that's in there, not in there.
I would like to ask them, like, because it doesn't matter if you came from a broken home, a not broken home, a good home, a bad home. Somewhere in between, something went left where you felt like, if I give my body away, this is going to be good enough, and I could put a price tag on it. Whether you came from the biggest mansion or the hoodest of hood, like, and you decided to do this. And if this was your choice, I just want to know, like, tell me the timeline from birth to when you started.
Right.
Let's do a whole psychosocial, and we could just pinpoint something.
Mm.
Because we all got something. We all have
Right.
something.
Yeah,
We all
absolutely.
got something. Nobody is you know.
Nobody is safe out here. We all jacked up in some way.
Trust me. So that's what I would want to know.
Mm.
Yeah.
So what does it say up here? Somebody was responding to Blondie Shorty. Said, yeah, but they get distracted with the money flow and lose their future endeavors and get caught up in the wrong flow of actions to make money without any morals. Oh, making money without morals. Woo!
I wouldn't say they don't have any morals. I just think that everybody's morals are different, for one.
Right.
You know, everybody's morals are different. I just feel for after. Because it's good. The money's good for right then, but it's after I'm worried about. You know.
Wow, the after effects. When it's all said and done, like
when it's all,
what did I do?
You know what? People forget about the quiet times. It's all things are always all good when the lights are on, the party's jumping, friends are all around. But when it's quiet, you have to deal with your own thoughts, your own situations, your own memories,
your own demons.
Exactly. And if you don't know how to fight them, you're going to pacify them.
Wow.
And you don't want to pacify nobody's demons, okay?
Right. Wow. And it becomes a repeated cycle. You end up either in toxic relationships and, exactly. Bad habits, whether it be drinking, drugs, sex, whatever it is. It's just become a repeated and a vicious cycle.
Yes.
Wow. A lot of people have a lot of comments in here to say, I got to keep up with y'all. Lord have mercy. Let me see. So somebody asked on here also, what advice would you, Cass asks, what advice would you give to a young lady who wants to follow in your footsteps?
My footsteps?
Yes.
Little old me? Just decide which population you like and what school you want to go to and ride that thing out and just stick with it. Just find your population. My population is behavioral youth and ex-offenders, and right now victims of human trafficking. So yeah.
Wow, that's some heavy areas right there to focus on. So that's good. Like I believe also, once again, I said at the beginning, I feel you have to be called to, just like we have, passes and I think you have to be. It just have to be. Yeah. Not anybody could do it. I mean, we all can help somebody else out and give somebody. Right. But this is a whole nother level of.
It's heavy. Yeah. It's heavy.
It's like social work. I know a lot of some friends who are social workers. They say they get burnt out.
You do. Sometimes that's why you'll see us change jobs or change companies because it gets heavy. It gets heavy. Wow. It definitely does.
There's another comment on here says, what about the ones who don't use OnlyFans but doing meetups, trying to survive and can't find work? Doing meetups. What do we mean by meetups?
That's borderline prostitution. And they just need the right case management to help them put them in the program. And comments like that reminds me that I need to get on my game and start focus on what my end goal is to this. So yeah.
It's about, I think at the end of the day, it's about purpose and finding balance and what is your personal end goal? What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to get out of life? And finding like other means to get to it instead of the the things that's going to leave you feeling empty when it's all said and done.
It comes down to choices. If you have to use meetups and stuff like that, it comes down to you are surviving. That's not even like you're surviving. You are trying to make an end meet. Like that's not even like sound thinking. I'm trying to survive at this point. So this is it. Like, so we want to help people like that. They need help immediately. So they're not choosing that in their right frame of mind. They are trying to survive. They're trying to pay bills today. And that's sad that there's not enough people who are willing to help and get women like that off of the street and help them, or men or teenagers,
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. That's interesting.
People have to recognize that that's an issue.
Right. And that's the biggest thing. The first step to anything is awareness. You know,
Yeah.
recognizing, acknowledging, like, hey, we got a problem here. Houston, we got a problem.
Yeah.
We need help. We need help. So, RSVP Cat said, "Do you agree that social media drives young people' desire for fast money by any means?"
Yes. By any means. By any means.
By any means. Wow. Social media, once again, it's a blessing, but for some, it can also be a curse. And, you know, the old saying said, too much of anything is not good for you.
It's not good for you.
And I wholeheartedly believe that. Ms. Level 81 says, I used to strip. I used to strip till some guy followed her home. I wasn't judged as much as women doing OnlyFans, but I would have kept doing it because money came easy and effortless. Better than a 9-to-5. Is that bad thinking?
No, because that's her choice. That's her choice. But her safety. See, I'm concerned about her safety.
Right.
Because sometimes there's people out here that solely plot on women like that. You know, she's out here just trying to get her money. I'm hoping she has a plan and an end date, right? But he's not knowing that she's out here going to her job with an end date. She might be in school. She's just trying to get to her bag. She has an end date on her calendar. Like, I'm going to stop stripping by March 13th at 2 a.m. That's the end date. Here he come, ready to rob her, kill her, whatever. And then now look, you know? So the safety part of it.
Right. Right, and that's one of the concerns. Safety is like, you think you get on fans like this, and this we asked the young lady in last week, and was she concerned about safety? She said she hasn't encountered anything of that magnitude yet. She said people may recognize her, but she hasn't had any issues, and she's been doing this for 3 solid years so far. So, but that may not be her story, but for others, it may be their story. Stalkers and, you know, being followed down, and, you know, some crazy people out here, and some real stalkers out here for real too.
Oh no, oh there are.
So that's one thing to definitely consider when going to those areas. Let me see what else we have here. Somebody said, great topic. I've been around good and bad, seen money, been there, and I'm consented on quiet time in my, I'm content on quiet time in my thoughts daily. I can write a book. I know that's right. I think we all have a book in us.
Oh, yes.
I don't know what Blondie Shorty says. I think that's a question for a sex worker. They would be able to answer that. Well, if somebody could just rewind, what question was that? What did you answer that to, Blondie, about that? I think that's a question for a sex worker. I don't know what that was for. Somebody said, I definitely agree that women should have a plan and an end game. I guess, like you said earlier, if you're going to do it, get to it and get out of it.
Yeah.
Get into it and get out of it. And so, you know, I guess what we have come to here today is realizing that, you know, from your opinion, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, you said there's a void in there that's trying to be filled. And whatever we get into, we need to, oh, that's a question about meetups. Oh, okay, she was talking about meetups when she made that comment. I think you had touched on that earlier about, okay, so what True MC said, what about but the ones who don't use OnlyFans but doing meetups to try and survive and can't find work? Okay, she said that was a question for somebody who's out in that field. Okay. We have a question here for you. So, are you open and available to do one-on-one sessions, like those who really consider anything? Because, you know, you have a lot of experience. You said you was in the prisons. you out here in these streets. Like you got some experience. You said you're in the high school now, right?
Yeah, I'm in high school now.
So I can't imagine what kind of cases you got in the high schools.
I know. Yeah, it's a lot. That's why I'm so passionate. That's why I'm so concerned about it. I can't promise that I would have the same passion if I was still in the hospital or in another facility. But being in the high school, and I've seen girls come back to me and say, Miss Tiffany, this dude really tried to do this. This dude asked me to do this. This dude, you know, and they're coming back to me with the same questions that, you know, I've had to ask pimps to leave the hospital. I've seen it with my own eyes. So I don't think I would have been this passionate if I didn't see it with like my own eyes.
Wow.
I had to address it. So I'm just like, no, like this is real.
Right.
This is
So
real.
you're not a person who's far removed and just like just giving your opinion.
No.
Like you right in the
Yeah.
trenches. You see
Yeah.
what's going on. You having
Yes.
conversations with these people.
When I had to like really address a pimp in the hospital, I was like, oh, we're here. I'm here. This is real life. And this is really happening. This is happening in real time. So I think that's when my senses just was like, oh, I need to really step my game up and make sure that these girls know what's happening out here. And it's not looking like regular, pimps up, hoes down, gold cup,
Right.
It's looking like a regular boyfriend. It's looking like somebody who they would date, So it's scary. It's scary.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm curious to know if we have any sex workers in here. Anybody who consider OnlyFans or on OnlyFans. If y'all have any questions or comments, please do so. Ask. We would love to hear y'all perspective. While Tiffany L, licensed therapist, is in here, helping us sift through this. Like I said, it's a free, non-judgmental environment. So feel free to put in your comments. Shout out to Terry Khan Music, who's in the building. Terry Khan got her music Mondays every Monday on IG Live. So anyone said, do you, as a therapist, use God when you're giving advice to people?
I make it, if they ask me, I let them know, but I don't force it on them. I don't hide that I'm a Christian. I don't hide it. I'm not going to hide it. But if they ask me, then I'll tell them. So then that could be a part of their treatment plan. Some of the kids at the high school know by some of the things on like my desk or in my office, and I'm real casual with it. So they've come to know, like, Miss Tiffany gonna pray for you. If you really want to pray for you, she'll pray for you. So it is who I am. So but when I see adults like in the hospital, if they ask me, I tell them. So I don't force it, but if they ask me, I will. And if you say that you are a Christian, then let's get to it. And we could.
She said, let's get to it. Come on. You tell me, on the altar real quick. Look at some deliverance up in here. Where my oil at?
Okay.
So we have another comment here. True MC said, the money back keeps coming up. So why would they want to end game, especially if they living it up without regards of consequences?
Everything has a consequence. You might not see it immediately.
And everything ends.
Everything ends.
At a certain point, you got it in.
Everything ends.
Wow. This is actually a great topic. I'm really like blessed that you actually came on and everybody who chimed in.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, Terry Khan Music.
Thank you.
You have such a sweet spirit. Says God bless you.
God bless you too.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, Terry Khan is definitely an anointed woman of God. Like I said, she has. If y'all don't follow her, tune into her because she gets it in with prayers on Wednesdays, and she has everything on Monday. Her show on Monday, so tune into her. Here we go. Blondie Shorty says, I have questions, but it's too many to ask here. So if you want to ask her one-on-one with, if you're open to it, Tiffany.
Yes, you could. In my DM. It's cool.
Yeah. Blondie Shorty, if you have questions, let's get to it because that's what this platform is for. And if you're open to it, Tiffany, like we could, shut this down and Terry, come on here where I'll just leave the floor open to whoever wants to ask a question. And you can ask their question and, we can get it on. Depend. If you have time, let me know, Tiffany.
I have a little time.
I have a little time.
Oh, I have a little time.
Just a little bit. Somebody says it's not something you're able to capitalize off of forever. That's true. Because you ain't young forever. You ain't young forever. Your body is. No. You ain't gonna be able to shake it around too much longer.
Okay.
But I really think everybody for just really tuning in and rocking with us tonight. And I thank you once again for coming in and
no
giving
problem.
expertise. I mean, I know you have a wealth of knowledge. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm waiting for that book to come out by Tiffany L. So we can get to it because I know you have something to share with the people out there from what you're experiencing, firsthand. And I hope other people invite you onto their platform to also let you speak because it's needed. We need it. We need both sides. We need a balance of everything.
Mm-hmm.
We need both sides of the spectrum.
Yes.
Somebody said, but they are hostile. True MC says, but they are hypnotized with the attention and money flow, so they think they can preserve it long term. It says, Miss Loveaway81 says, as a therapist, have you ever come across a pimp being violent to you, or men in jails must be scary, all the personalities?
In the jails, they really couldn't do much because of the corrections officers. In the second jail, it was a juvenile facility, so my philosophy working in the juvenile facility was I respected them and they respected me. That's how I move with all of my clients. I don't care if you are insanely psychotic. I still respect you. And you will see a dramatic change in any patient. The respect level is I'm big on respect. I don't care how mentally ill you are. I don't care if you're hearing 10,000 voices. I'm still going to respect you. So that always breaks down a barrier. So in the jail, I never really had an issue. So that wasn't an issue. The pimp that I did come across with, he wasn't rude, but he was trying to manipulate me. And that was more offensive to me than being rude. So I just had security just escort him out. Because he was just aggravating me with his foolishness.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. So you went through a lot. How do you from a normal day, and like you come in contact, like you say, you know, high schoolers, you know, in jails and all kinds of people. How do you decompress from your day? Like you take on a lot of energies and a lot of people's stories, and I'm quite sure you're seeing more that you could possibly even tell us. How do you decompress from your day?
I pray a lot. I have a good support of friends around me. I pray before my day starts with them. I do other things too. So I have a whole family that we discuss business and our finances. So I have my whole team with that. I trade on the foreign exchange market. I do cryptocurrency. So I talk to them. So my mind is somewhere else with that.
Okay. So you find ways to distract yourself, so it was not always tuned
Take a lot of
into this.
Take a whole lot of naps. I used to go on vacation before the world was shut down. Go on vacation a lot.
Oh, that's right. Need to with this industry. That line of work you're in.
Yeah, but I take a lot of naps.
Okay.
I don't do much.
Look, in regards to when we said earlier about everything don't last always, Blondie Shorty said Blonde Shorty said you could be 65 and fabulous and still shaking that ass. So True MC said, I know someone who are over 30s and he's still doing the wild and dirty. Well, 30's still young, so
yeah.
Blondie Shorty said, why is it such a bad thing though? Why are we so concerned with how other people live their lives?
It's not a bad thing per se. It's up to the person. We're just concerned about the safety and the after effects. So just the fact that we have to not battle about it, but argue about it, but have to go back and forth about it, just says that there's an issue with it. The fact that we just can't leave well alone and put it on the table just says that there's something wrong with it.
Something's going on. Like what's going on? And so it's a conversation that needs to be had. So some people take it to the extreme, to the limits, and and have unpleasant
right. And if
results.
there wasn't so many girls being kidnapped and trafficked, and it still wouldn't be okay.
Right. And heck, for all we know, some of these people could be forced to be put on platforms like this, and we don't even know it.
They are being forced. There are strippers who are being forced to strip. That's a great point. They're being forced.
Yeah, it's all tied in. RSBB Cass said, is it hard to date being a therapist. If you're with someone, do you always feel like you're reading them? Uh-oh. I think we hit a soft spot right here, y'all.
No, I just, because we all got stuff, you know, we all have stuff. I just don't take on people's problems anymore. I might lead them in the direction, like, you should probably do this, and the third. But no, it's not hard to date. But I mean, I know mental illness now.
She said, I know it's real. And I know if
right.
you have some
You
issues.
get talking to yourself and, you know, all this other stuff, then we need to get a handle up on that. But no, everybody has stuff. Everybody has stuff. You know,
Right.
I'm more aware. You know, I can see patterns in certain things. But no, it's not hard. It's hard dating when you're not a therapist.
Right. Since now I'm informed, I'm equipped now. I'm equipped to take on some relations. Like, look, what's up? What you talking about? What you working on? What's your psychosis? What's going on?
Oh my gosh.
Somebody said that people do take their job home like that at times, and it's just in their flow overall. Like I said, have you ever had a moment where it was just too much for you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This I guess this past June, when I couldn't see some of my kids graduate, I had a little breakdown. I was sad. I was very sad. It broke my heart. I did.
Wow.
It was very sad. Yeah.
How did you recoup from that? How did you bounce back?
I took them some graduation presents. I couldn't control myself. And in the hospital, I ended up leaving the hospital full time and then working part time because it just became too much. It became too much. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
You have to know when it's too much because you'll start to not care as much. You won't give your all. And I saw myself just really just not giving the way I was giving. So I was like, you know what? It's time for me to get another full-time job and switch.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said switch it up.
Yeah, I switched it
up. Blonde Shorty said, so if that person is mentally sane, living a great life, providing for their families, etc., then nothing can be said about that, right? Just trying to gain some clarity.
Listen, whatever. Hey, man, if they are right, if they feel like this is what they want to do, and if they feel like they are mentally sound and all is well in their life, and they feel like they are emotionally well, then have at it.
Power to the people.
Have at it. Have at it.
Okay.
But that's not the majority.
Right. We have some one-offs, you know, like you said, not the majority. If you do a poll, it's probably not the majority. Right. It says we don't want to see them really fail because we see the outcome from how they dealing with and how exposed. Ms. Lovell said, I would love to have a one-on-one with you. We will be reading each other. Hold on, I got some questions. The question popped over. Blonde Shorty also said again, I want it to also be known that there is a difference between sex work and sex trafficking. Yes. So that is put out there. There is sex work and sex trafficking. That is absolutely correct. Terry Commuse said, would you probably be better off than more? You would probably be better off than more when you can detect it from the jump. Oh, we're talking about in a relationship. And you smell the BS from nah.
But somehow I still get caught up. It's all right.
You still get caught up?
I still get caught up. It's all right.
The heart ones, right? Hope is romantic.
Yes. Yeah.
RSB Cass says one-on-one live sessions. Look, you can open up an OnlyFans page and start counting some folks on it. Come on, OnlyFans right now. Let's get it. Just charge. Hey, that's a good idea. You might need to open up.
Oh gosh.
She said, I'm good on that one. Blonde Shorty said, I guess I'm part of the minority. Oh, okay. So we have, wait a minute. Hold up. Blonde Shorty is the guest we had last week.
Oh.
She is the guest we had last week, so she is part of the minority. So she's in here listening, and she's been rocking and rolling. I wish we could do a 3-way on here. That would be really interesting. Okay. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for, commenting on Blonde Shorty, and joining us on this. I have some questions here in a box. All right. Okay. Where'd it go? It says, are you single? If not, does your man feel like you're always reading him? And if you're single, do you feel like finding a partner is hard because you are able? Do I see that question over here?
I see it. It says, are you single? If not, does your man feel like you're always reading him? If single, do you feel like finding a partner is hard? Child, finding a partner been hard since
forever.
Right.
Look, like she lost it. She said since. Look, originally, I know we late on that question. I just seen it in the box. My bad for the delay, y'all. I need a assistant over here to help me with these questions. But listen. So wow. So it's a challenge regardless, whether you're aware or not. Whether we're aware or not, it's like pick your challenge.
But relationships, that goes with friendships, all relationships, family. Like you just start to see patterns and things in all of your relationships.
Mm-hmm. So talk about that real quick. So let's talk about briefly on patterns, even in relationships. So explain to us about patterns. Everybody talks about patterns. Like patterns don't lie. This don't lie. So, and the people say, I could change. I may be one way today, but tomorrow I had this great awakening, and forget my patterns. I'm a different person today. What do you say about that?
Actions. Look at their actions. People can change.
Right.
People can change, but look at their actions. Saying one thing is one thing. That's fine. And we could talk all day. But what do your actions say? I like to see actions. I need receipts.
She said, show me some fruit.
Okay.
Where the fruit at?
I need receipts. Yes. Show me the fruit. Right. Yes. So people can change. And if they're consistent with their behaviors, people can consistently engage in nonsense. And that's a negative pattern, right? But if they want to change, they can consistently start to do the right thing and change that behavior. What is it, like 21 days changes like a habit or something?
Right,
like that?
right. Absolutely.
So watch them for that amount of time. If you're dating someone and they're like, well, I'm going to change this pattern. Okay, let's see. I need to see it be consistent,
So what if they get to like the 15th day and they boop, fell back into the old pattern? So you got to start the cycle over again. Day number one.
Everybody has a little hiccup. Right. But just watch the overall consistency. Because, dudes will start off, being nice with the whole, hey, good morning, beautiful, you're this and you're that great. Then next week, you don't hear from them. Just consistency.
Right. And
consistency is what you will see if you want to see how somebody's moving. Consistency. That's it.
Now, how do you mix in consistency with, maybe this person's having a bad week, month?
Talk to them. That's what I had to learn in real life. Just ask people, like, say what you mean, ask them. Having conversations with people will go so far in life. Like, and if you're dating someone, you're in your friendship, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, talk to them. Ask them, like, what's good? Like, you've been doing this. You haven't been doing it. Is something off? Is something wrong? Did I do something? Did I offend you? Did you offend me? Like, just say something. Just talk. People are not talking. And I had to learn that because I'm quiet and I'll just let things get bottled up, right? And not say anything. And I'll just be like, just let it out. One day, like, well, where did that come from? But I learned getting older, like, I gotta stop doing that because I'm just letting stuff slide, but it's pissing me off.
Right.
So I just learned to listen. This is bothering me today. Let it out.
Right. So Now that's a whole nother topic. Like we transition to another topic, and I want to ask this because why we have you on here, because it's two people who had a live one person had a live, I think this other lady one had a live yesterday. RSVP Cass, every Sunday night he has a lot he has his podcast going on, a No Cosign podcast, and last few weeks has been about relationships, been about love, about
yeah, I saw that. Yes.
Yeah. So he's been shout out to those people and others who have these platforms where we are addressing relationships. And so I want to touch on real quick about communication. Like how to be effective, communicate, address things and say what we mean when we say, without not so much coming off of offending the other party, but so they can understand and we can understand one another. Because sometimes we talk to each other, but we're saying words that we understand, but we're still not getting it.
Right. I had to learn to not speak from my emotion, and just speak from my maturity.
Okay.
Like, because what I was trying to convey made sense. And I realized that when I said it from maturity, it was receptive. When I came from emotion, like, you're not listening to me. Okay, they're not going to get it like that. When I just said, like, the way you phrase it, if you ask a question, it's your tone, it's your cadence, it's your approach. It changes the whole dynamic. And you get a whole different answer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's definitely the tone and your approach and just how you're coming at them. Especially men. Because men, like, okay, is she about to spaz? Is she mad? Is she accusing me of something? Like, what's going on? Because they have to figure out, like, they do something, they not do something, like, what's going on?
Right.
And, women can be a little bit more emotional than men,
A little bit. Oh, sorry, that's that out loud. So no, I'm messing around. But that's you made valid points. RSVP Cat says you don't realize how big what you're doing, especially as a Black woman. He said salute to you for real. So this is great. True MC said people are sexting more before even talking vocally, even the traditional ones. People are sexting before even talking. Like, you text, let me talk that talk and send a little picture here. People are sexting.
Yeah, that's what messes it up. It sends the whole wrong vibe. Like,
Yeah, it's a no for me, dog.
Yeah.
You started off wrong.
No, you started off all wrong. No.
It's the tone for me, Ms. O said. Cass said, women gotta stop leading with "we need to talk."
Or
how do you feel about that? How do you feel about that?
I always say, I have a real life question. Like,
it was like, that's right. Oh boy, here we go. As a man, here we go.
That's my line. I have a real life question. If you're like, oh boy, here we go. I got a question. You might have an answer, you might not.
Wow. Do you believe in giving time and space? Like, say if you have a question and that your partner's not ready to answer that question at that given time, do you get frustrated? Do you be like, can you answer the question? It's a simple question. Like, how do you give them their space? Like, allow them to come back when they're ready to answer the question. How do you handle it?
In honesty, I've been in both positions where I've wanted an answer and I haven't got one. But I respect where they have taken their time and have come back to me with an answer.
Okay.
The impulsive me wants an answer, but I can respect you if you say, "I'm gonna come back to you with an answer, a real answer." Okay, fine, fine, because that will force me to calm down and not be so reactive in the conversation. Because sometimes I need that. I know my flaws. Flawless she. See that? I know. I know them. I know my flaws. I know I could be a little hot. I know I can. So I definitely respect that for sure.
Wow. And I we have another comment. Men got to stop ignoring women's feelings that we wouldn't blow up.
Right.
Right? She said, right.
Yes.
Man, listen, I gotta get a male therapist on here. Get off my dog on screen. It's like, no. So one more question. I'm gonna tie this all back to what we talked about in the beginning. Let's just go with communication. We back on communication again. Have you, as a female, asked in a relationship, asked a man for a question or needed to talk to him about something, but when he actually answered you, and if he answered you honestly and candidly, have you had a time where you could not receive it or you didn't like his response, or couldn't withstand the weight of the response? Like, you know, people like I could ask somebody something like, hey, ask me something, you know, I ask, hey, I need to know about this or how you feel about this, and then they give me an answer and they cut and dry with me. I'm like, oh, now I'm left feeling away because I ain't like that response. Have you ever been in a situation like that?
Yeah, because sometimes I ask questions that I might not really want the answer, but I think I do want the answer. Mm-hmm. So I ask it anyway. I'm just like, oh, I really didn't want the answer, but okay. But I want to know. Mm-hmm. You know, because I want to know what I'm getting into.
So then if you get an answer that you didn't really want anyway, how do you respond? How do you handle that without getting the attitude like, oh, that's how you really feel?
I don't know. I haven't got that mature yet.
Oh, I ain't there yet. So Mayday. We all a work in progress.
Right. I'm trying.
Yeah,
I'm like, what? I'm like, huh? What you say? You for real? Oh.
That's how you really feel? Oh,
right. Oh, right.
Noted.
Yes. No.
Remember that. Trust me on this one. So, like I said, I'm just going to tie back into what we were talking about, you know, in regards to the OnlyFans and the platforms like this, and you know how it relates to young women and men in this industry and the effects thereof. You know, at the end of the day, it goes all the way back to communication, you know, mm-hmm. Also in the home. Like, we're not communicating with our kids at an early age. Right. We're not having these open and candid conversations.
Yes.
That we need to have.
That's
that
true.
Could prevent our youth and young women and men
yes.
from going down paths they probably shouldn't be going down or will regret later.
Yes.
And so conversations like these are needed. And, you know, for a long time in the Black community, it's been a stigma about like, oh, why you going to get help? Why you going to therapist? You crazy? Yes. You don't need that. Yes. And so, but I'm glad that stigma is breaking down and we're starting to become more aware of our needs to seek counseling, to seek some kind of mentorship or sit on somebody's couch and like talk to me, dissect my mind and my brain because I got some issues.
Yes. No. We need this. We need mm-hmm. this. I don't know if quarantine, if racial riots, elections, whatever horrible things that have happened in 2020, if that has just brought heightened awareness to mental health, but it's always been an issue. Mm-hmm. And it's sad that it's taken so long for this to be, have a light, shined on it. But it's been in our communities. It's been here. It's been pacified in the wrong ways. Mm. It's been looked over. People have been suffering in silence. People have been covering it up with just going to church and just praying about it. And that's, it's not okay. We cannot do that any longer. People need help. People are suffering. People are suffering in silence. People are suffering right next to you and you wouldn't even know.
That's right.
And that's the sad part. That's truly the sad part. So people need to be okay with wanting to get help and saying, I want to see a therapist. Mm-hmm. And they have to be okay. Here's the kicker, with being okay with maybe it not being a Black therapist.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. They have to be open to the whole gamut of therapy, of the whole thing, because maybe at that time a Black therapist might not be the one for you. You might not even like them like that. So I need people to be open to the whole concept of therapy and not be closed off.
So you got to go in open-minded, like really wanting help and not, you got to be willing to be vulnerable.
Yes. And wanting help and wanting to go back a couple of years and do some work, because we're not going to just talk about your most recent breakup and most newest boyfriend. No, we got to go back to when you was 5 and work our way up. Yeah.
So we taking back, and I know that's a painful process for some, because I remember going to get a job back in the day at the airport, and they wanted my 10-year work history. I said, I know how many jobs I had in the past 10 years, so I had to go find all these numbers. So I can only imagine having to go back in my life and dig up memories that I would rather suppress and forget about. But it takes work.
It does.
It takes work.
You have to be honest with yourself and be like, you know what? Be honest with how you felt back then, how you feel now, and how those feelings back then are affecting how you feel now. How they're affecting your relationships, how you're affecting your skills in talking to people, your whole communication with people. All of these things play a part.
Everything is relevant. Everything is connected. So
it all ties together.
It all ties together. All things work together for the good, and some things for the bad.
Yes.
RSVP Cass said, what I do on my podcast, which is the No Cosign podcast that comes on every Sunday night at 9 p.m., is like could be a little bit of therapy. Do you feel like I'm misleading because I'm not a licensed therapist?
Is that the one that was on with Love and Lust the other day?
Yes. Yes.
No, I don't think you were giving advice. You weren't diagnosing. If you was trying to diagnose people and give them like symptoms and do all this other stuff, then I'd be like, don't do that. But no, I definitely watched on Sunday. I was commenting too about consistency. I saw it. No, I don't think so. I think you were just having an open conversation, an open dialogue.
And when we have open, like for those who are not trained, like myself or anybody else who's not trained or licensed, how do we know if we are approaching that fine line where we're giving, saying too much?
Just say it's not my professional opinion, but just always lead with that. Just say it's not my professional opinion.
Right.
Just always lead with that. Just say. Just start with that.
This is just my own personal thoughts.
Right, my own personal thought.
Right.
As a friend, all I'm saying is.
As a friend, what happened? What I'm saying is maybe.
Yeah, because you don't want to be responsible, because it's a heavy responsibility.
Right.
Yeah.
Misleading. Yeah. And I've been in situations like that where, dealing with some even people who you think are older and wiser, but they still not licensed. I've been in situations where. A multitude of people that have been associated, we have been affected by somebody giving us wrong advice. It was just the results and what happened was like catastrophic, like life altering.
Wow.
People lost money, homes,
Oh no.
It was bad. So, my case probably is extreme, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
RSBS Cass says, bet I'm not trying to get in no trouble. No trouble. I know that's right. Well, I definitely, you've been rocking with us on here for about an hour and 20 minutes, so hour and 30 minutes. And I just want to say thank you again, Tiffany.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, for really rocking with us. It wasn't bad, was it?
No, I was all nervous.
Right. I know that's right. So, if anybody have any questions, concerns, she said, feel free to inbox her. If they want a real session with you, I don't know if you do anything outside or personally, if you.
Right now, I'm not taking any adults. Right now, I'm not. I'm seeing kids through a private. I work from 2 private contract. 2 companies have me as a private contractor, so I'm doing that right now. So I'm not seeing any adults right now. Maybe in the spring. I'll see how I feel about it, but adults are a lot.
Adults, they look, just unpacking a whole 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. So,
right.
Like, we got to go down the line. So
I'm tired.
I'm tired. You always trying to burn me. You're trying to take me out.
Right.
Now, but if there are any parents on here, if they had any questions concerning their kids, they could ask.
Yes.
So that's good to know. So, I guess, we have your information on there, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all go on the top of y'all screen and click that down arrow. Go ahead and follow her. Hit her up in a DM. Look, soon to be, you're dope, Dr. Tiffany. Let's get it. Speak that thing.
Thank you.
Let's go. great. It definitely was a great combo. You definitely helped us gain clarity and give us the other side of it all.
And shout out to the young lady that was on last week. I don't want her to feel no way at all. I salute her. I commend her. I think she's brave. I think she is fully confident in what she's doing. I want her to be safe. I want her to be well. I want her to get to her bag. I just want her to have an end goal and get out the game real quick and be the best that she could be. That's all I want for her.
Absolutely, and that's what any of us should want for any one of us.
Yes.
Do what we got to do. Get in, get out, live your best life.
Yes.
The best way you can.
Yes.
So Tiffany, once again, thank you so much. Thank you everybody who joined us tonight.
Thank you guys.
I was here with RC9INTERVIEWS. Tiff, you were great. Shout out to Fat Lace on Instagram. My boy Jason.
Shout out Jason.
Yeah, tune into his podcast he got going on every week. Who is it? The Bald Head and Beards.
Beards and Bald Heads on Monday.
Beards and Bald Head podcast. I was happy to be on there.
Yes.
I'll probably rerun my interview. Was great guy, from way back in track and field days.
You both are so talented. Yes.
And so thanks again, once again. You have a blessed night, and we'll probably tag teaming you again. We have topics like this to get your input. So
okay.
You're gonna be like a Dr. Phil or Dr. Oz over here. He's like, hey, we need Dr. Tiffany in the house. Dr. Tiffany, let's call up. What you got to say? What you got to say?
I'm down. I'm down for it.
All right, no problem. Everybody have a good night. Thank you for tuning in, and God bless.
Bye-bye.